Hello, Marta.
I'm the lovely assistant today. Wrong hand, darling. Nice to meet you. How was your weekend? That's good. I like it. You watched Breaking Bad? Did you finish it? That was like the best show ever. Oh, you didn't like the ending? I love the ending. That was like the best part. Like I got goosebumps watching the ending.
In fact, I was the first one to watch it. My whole family when it first started. I'm like, this show's gonna be good.
You know what? I got into it when it was about, I think like season 3 was on Netflix. And the first episode I saw, I was like, okay, this is okay. But from like, no, but seriously, like watch the second episode. By the second episode, you'll be hooked. And sure enough, like, it just kind of was like, oh my god.
I don't know. Mostly, you don't have to be defensive and wonder, is this guy trying to mug me? You know, it's more of a threat assessment.
I don't like the
I would
shaking
say.
guy.
Totally.
You seem friendly.
Oh, damn. Or you're
Even my
obsessed.
family. Some of my family is still like, why are you dressing like that? You know, what's wrong with the way you look? I'm still a nice person. Shouldn't that count? You know, shouldn't that
Like
count
for
anything?
something. So my first question for you is, how did you guys feel when the conversation started? Let's go with Gail first.
I thought he was going to start selling something.
Yes.
See, I told you she'd go into sales.
I was kind of waiting for that punchline, like, what's he selling?
All right, what about
Yeah, I
you?
was waiting for a punchline as well.
Well, it's good to know I look like a salesman.
I feel like every kind of social experience kind of builds on everything else, so yeah, I guess so. I think, you know, it's all accumulation anyway. So I think the next time that this kind of situation happens, I'll be like, oh, well, maybe that one time. You know,
Hey, how old is she?
a year and a half.
A year and a half. That's awesome. Is she talking yet?
All the time.
All the time. Does she actually form words, or she just make noises
No, she
still?
forms words.
You know, I'm starting to worry about my little dude. He just makes noises at me most of the time.
How old is your kid?
16 months.
16 months.
16 months, and he mostly just growls at me. He thinks he's a monster. It's adorable. What'd you guys do last weekend?
Nothing? Alright.
Wow.
I watched The Walking Dead and went to work. And we're doing an experiment where we try to engage in conversation with people that would probably never talk to us. Normally. Do you imagine?
we would never talk to you though?
Well, do you imagine?
Well, because usually we were discussing, because I was actually discussing the potentially going to like maybe a store or something like that, but he says that in the food court, this is kind of where you go to rest, and you're kind of in your own insulated bubble, in your own little world, and it's kind of an isolation, so for someone to just kind of walk up to you while you're engaged in your own world, then, you know.
Especially when you got a baby.
Especially when you got a kid. But that's why I wanted to talk to you even more, because I know that when I have my kid, if you walk to me and talk to me, I'm a little like, what do you
Did you
want?
see me? I pulled
Yeah,
my baby clothes.
what do you want? So, no, I totally understand, which is why I thought, guys, is how did you guys feel when the conversation started?
At least you guys are honest.
What about you, just awkward in general?
Yeah.
How did you guys feel when the conversation was over?
A little relieved, actually.
Okay, they're not psychos.
That's exactly what would be like.
She's like,
Did you think this was a joke?
In a way, yes. So it's like,
I have to ask.
I kind of thought like something was up with it.
I thought something was up too. So I'm like, pull my baby a little closer.
Just out of curiosity, what about the way that we approached you made you think that it was a joke?
I don't know, like I just came, like, well, I saw you. You guys kind of walk around. Like,
It's good that people pay attention to their
So-
surroundings. It's like no one does it.
Yeah, so I saw you guys like start over there a little bit. You're kind of like moving towards this way. So I'm like, are you gonna come talk to us? Like, kind of public. And then, yeah, so when you guys come over, you're like, can I sit here? And I'm like, all these other chairs, you guys can sit here.
Right here, like the whole food court. Do you think this will affect the way that you interact with people in the future?
Yeah.
Positively or negatively?
Positive.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And then, well, my original final question was, do you think there was a difference because it was a male versus a female approaching you, but since it was the both of us, do you think that made a difference in the way that you responded, as opposed to if we approached you singularly?
Yeah, because if he probably would approach me by himself, and I would have been like, no.
Why would you have said no?
Because I don't know, I guess males
Sorry,
tend to be dominating. So it's kind of like, why do you want to see me? I don't
You
know.
think I'd be
And then-
dominating in front of him?
And then women
Because that
are
stopped
kind
dudes
of like,
before.
women are a little bit more, I guess they make you feel less uneasy.
I can understand that.
Kind of like, okay, I don't mind. But then when you guys came together, it was like, yeah, something's up. Yeah, that's
totally
I give
understand.
people the benefit of the doubt, and I figured you were nice enough to ask if you could sit here, and then you looked like, you were just pleasant, and you were just looking for conversation. Maybe you were lonely or bored, and don't have any friends.
Got you figured out, honey.
Well, that's me in a nutshell.
So I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I try to be polite, as I would want people to be polite to me, and so I don't try to judge people in advance.
That's awesome. You guys,
Regardless of the fact that you are younger and that you're dressed a certain typical way or whatever, I have children that are your age as well, so I wouldn't want, if they were doing something like this, I would prefer that someone would be responsive and courteous and not be rude.
I'm fighting, but I didn't box. Well, the thing is, what's your name?
Patricio.
Patricio, what's your name?
I'm Marta.
The thing is, you kind of surprised me because I'm so used to coming to the mall and hearing so much foul language. It's like, I sit down and eat after my Mexico. They'll get rude and
You came across does make a difference. Like if you just came and just sat down and then just looked at us and gawked at us and didn't say anything, that would kind of make you feel
So
uncomfortable.
it would
the
have
fact that-
changed the-
Yeah, and the tone that you use also made a difference.